Hi everyone, my name is Sean Mills. I want to give you a little bit of information about our tournaments coming up this summer at Legacy Park. First of all, we know a lot of you guys were registered to play at Cooperstown, and unfortunately they've had to cancel their summer, and that really stinks because my son went there about 10 years ago and he still lists that as probably the best week of his life. Definitely one of the best experiences he's ever had, especially as far as baseball is concerned. Unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, they've had to close up, and we hate it for those 110 teams every week that were going to that tournament. But what we've decided to do is open up our park and try to create a similar experience. We know we can't replicate it exactly, but we'd like to do something as close to it as possible. So while we don't have the ability to house the players and the coaches in barrack style buildings, what we are doing is working with the City of Richmond very closely to make sure that every team would get to stay in the same hotel. So that we know that's huge. And then not just any hotel, but hotels that are close to restaurants and other entertainment things that are within walking distance for the most part. So working very closely with the City of Richmond on that. Other things that we're doing is we're going to have an opening ceremonies. Kings Dominion has actually opened up their park to us. Every player and coach that plays at the park are going to get a 3-day pass to Kings Dominion. That's right, 3 days, and it includes parking each of those days. So that is a huge benefit to every player and coach. And what Kings Dominion has also done is opened up their park and given us an amphitheater to hold our opening ceremonies in. So we will have a parade that'll start at the front gate of Kings Dominion, and it will go all the way into the park where this amphitheater is. The teams can hold their banners, march in together. They'll actually march up on stage in that amphitheater, be able to get pictures and everything. And I don't know if you guys know anything about Kings Dominion, but their theme is Peanuts. So, Charlie Brown, Lucy, Snoopy, all those guys will be there. And the team will get to take pictures in the amphitheater. And then the amphitheater holds 1,000 people. So everybody will then sit in the seats, and we'll have a quick 10-15 minutes about the tournament, what to expect moving forward, and then the players will be able to go back into the park and enjoy the rest of the evening in the park. So what a lot of folks have already talked about doing is showing up at the park in the morning, playing all day long, having a great time with their teammates, going to the opening ceremonies, and then going back into the park for the evening. And then so that would be Friday night. And then the next day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, our 6-game minimum tournament. And that 6th game will actually start the playoff round. So you'd have 5 pool play games, and the 6th game would be playoffs, okay? All right, and then on top of that, what we've tried to do to generate a sense of camaraderie amongst the teams and the families are incorporate other things that are in the Richmond and Washington, D.C. area that folks could come and visit that they wouldn't typically have a chance to do. Those are things like bus tour to either Washington, D.C., that would include a guided tour of the White House and the Capitol building, and then an afternoon foot tour of the nation's Capitol Mall, which includes the Smithsonian's, all the monuments, the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, the Vietnam Wall, Korean War, World War II, all that stuff is right there for you to visit. And then in the evening, if you wanted to, you could purchase Nationals tickets if the Nationals are in town. You could go to a Nationals game, or if you're all done for the day and you think that's a full day, you hop back on the bus, we take you back to your hotel. That's one option. Another option would be to go to Colonial Williamsburg and experience everything that goes on there. The colonial times, being able to see Yorktown and all the different things that happened back in Revolutionary War times. So you'd be able to visit that city if you would prefer. We're doing other things like Civil War battlefields. There are a lot of different things that are available in this area that people from around the country don't typically get to experience. So we're going to let the teams experience those things together, the kids being able to go and have a great time, but also experience things in the nation's capital region that they might not otherwise get to experience. At the opening ceremonies, there will definitely be time to do pin trading. I know a lot of the teams have mentioned to us that they've already gotten their pins, or they've already placed the order for their pins, and they're just waiting for them to arrive. We're definitely going to give you time at the opening ceremonies to trade pins, as well as there'll be plenty of time throughout the course of the week. A couple of the last questions that people have asked about are, will there be a skills competition? The answer is yes. We have every intention of having a skills competition, very similar to what you were expecting with the Road Runner, Home Run Derby, I think strongest arm, and then around the horn where the whole team participates. Another thing that's very similar to Cooperstown is that every team will play in a Legacy Park uniform. So included in the fees for the tournament for each player are 2 shirts, 2 hats, and 2 pairs of socks. That way everybody will have a visitor and an away uniform, and every game will be kind of uniform, very similar to the experience that you were expecting to have up in New York. A big topic of discussion has been, what about, the fees and the deposit? Do I get my deposit back? All that kind of stuff. And the answer is 100% yes. If the coronavirus has not lifted, or whatever you want to call it, and the government has restrictions on us, we will definitely be refunding 100% of the fees of the deposit that was paid to Legacy Park. That will all come back to you. Now, as far as hotels, every hotel would be different, so you'd have to talk with the hotels about what their refund policy is. Right now on the website, we only have the option of paying by check. We have the option of paying by credit card. We just didn't feel that most people would want to do that because there are some pretty hefty fees with that. It's a few $100s in just fees. So what we're doing is giving people 10 days to send in a check to hold that spot, because we're getting a lot of interest, and we'll hold that spot for 10 days, but we can't hold it for longer than that. So you can get your check in. And certainly if we don't get the check, we would definitely be reaching out to each team to find out, did you just not mail the check, or is it something where it's lost in the mail and we can take care of it and make sure that you don't lose your spot. Deposit is due 10 days from the date of registration. The balance is due by June 1st. Once again, we would definitely check with every single team to make sure if for some reason that deposit or that entire fee does not show up. We would definitely check with the team first and find out what's going on before just releasing that spot to another team. And one last thing that people have been asking about is the level of competition at this tournament. There's no guarantees. I cannot promise anybody what the level of competition will be. And some people have inquired because they want really strong competition. Some people have inquired because their team is not as strong and they're just looking for a great experience. And here's the thing, guys. You're going to have both, okay? Just like if you went to Cooperstown, there were teams at Cooperstown, at least when we went there were teams that were there just for the experience. That was it. They weren't there. They knew that the competition was going to be stiff. They were there to have a great time, to play baseball, to play it the right way, and just get out there and enjoy themselves. And then there are other teams who were there for all those things, but they were also there to win. And the competition that they were putting out was a little bit stronger, and they were playing to win every game and playing to win the tournament itself. So we're going to have both also, just like Cooperstown had, okay? And what we're going to try to do our best is, in those initial groups, is to group teams where they can have some games together against competition that is at their level. So hopefully that makes sense. And then, once we get to the knockout round or the playoff round, then it'll be mixed up, and based on your pool play, that's how the seeds will go.